The federal government is reportedly poised to close a popular bike lane near the Tidal Basin amid cherry blossom season. I spoke with bicyclists sounding the alarm as D.C. leadership pushes back. Earlier today, the Washington Post reported that the federal government is now expected to remove a portion of the 15th Street bike lane around the National Mall on Monday. Now, most of the bike lanes on 15th Street, they fall under the district's jurisdiction. But according to the Post reporting, the affected portion is on federal land under the jurisdiction of the National Park Service. D.C., of course, is home to many bikers. I just spoke with two advocates who worry if the closure comes to fruition, it could mean serious safety risks for all of us who travel through this area.
We are really concerned about the potential that this corridor is way less safe for everyone who's trying to get around. Removing the protected bike lane makes it way harder for everyone, including folks in cars.
Now, bike commuters are going to be in the car lane. They're going to be biking right in front or behind cars. It's really disappointing.
Now, in reporting this, the Post cited two District Department of Transportation staffers and local bike advocacy groups. The National Park Service has not confirmed the removal publicly, but the Interior Department did send me this statement when I asked for confirmation. They wrote in part, quote, "With the upcoming National Cherry Blossom Festival and preparations underway for America's 250th anniversary, ensuring safe access for residents, commuters, visitors, and emergency services is a shared priority." Also in a statement, the Federal Highway Administration told me in part, as part of the president's initiative to revitalize Washington, D.C., we are collaborating with the Department of the Interior to restore common sense into city planning. The bike lanes on 15th Street have dramatically reduced roadway capacity. Data, though, released recently by the district's Department of Transportation tells a different story. A 2026 study says since the lanes were completed in 2021, they've reduced roadway crashes by 46%, reduced bicycle injury crashes by 91%, and enhanced traffic flow, increasing speeds by 17%. Mayor Bowser released a statement tonight opposing the reported closure. She wrote in part that closing the lanes, specifically between Constitution and the Tidal Basin, would, quote, likely increase conflicts between pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicles, especially at one of the busiest times of the year. Removing it would push cyclists into traffic or onto crowded sidewalks, creating new safety risks for everyone.